Hey guys, it is Wingy here and welcome to a brand new video. Now today I want to be a decent person for once and I want to recommend something to you guys because there's a TV show that I've been watching recently that, I mean, if you follow me on Twitter you already know what it is, and I guess I'm going to edit the thumbnail to look like the TV show. I'm pretty sure you already know what it is, but today I just want to talk about a TV show that I've been watching recently that I absolutely fucking loved. If you're a fan of stuff like Star Wars or Star Trek or Doctor Who, in particular classic Doctor Who, then I think you're really going to like it, and this show is Blake's 7. Now the reason why I want to talk about it is because, like I say, I've just literally finished the show now. The entire thing is on YouTube as well, so it's really easy to find, and it's just a great science fiction program that is only like 4 seasons as well. So what is Blake's 7? Well, basically it is a TV show created by Terry Nation. Now Doctor Who fans, you'll probably know who that is because he's the guy who created the Daleks, but he also created another TV show known as Survivors, which was remade a few years ago actually. Why haven't they remade Blake's 7 yet? But the basic premise of the show is that there is this guy called Blake, funnily enough, and he realizes that the Federation, this great corporation, isn't actually that great. They actually murdered his family and then messed with his mind. So he starts to lead a resistance, but he gets caught and then accused of child molestation. Honestly, it's really cheerful. And then he gets sent towards a prison planet, there where he meets a load of different people, and then they sort of band together and join forces to fight against the Federation led by Servalan, who is seriously one of the hottest, evilest bitches I think I've ever seen. There isn't really a definitive lineup of Blake's 7 characters. It is like a lot of modern day TV shows like The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, where it is sort of like a revolving door policy with cast members, I guess. Some characters are in it for the long haul. I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to give you guys any spoilers in case you haven't seen it. But all I will say is if you have a character that you particularly like, don't get too attached to him maybe. Except one. There's one character who's there from the start and they are fucking awesome. Now the thing is with Blake's 7, it isn't the most original, and especially in modern days, when you compare it to other science fiction programs and movies, it doesn't really stand out. In terms of the special effects as well, and this is why I emphasize classic Doctor Who. If you are used to the practical and special effects that they use in Doctor Who in that era, sort of late 70s, early 80s, then you will sort of know what Blake's 7 is going to look like. I will say this, I don't think the budget is as big for Blake's 7 as it was for Doctor Who back then. And if you know classic Doctor Who, you know it wasn't that much of a budget for them either. So does it look dated? Yeah, it looks quite shit, but it weirdly works for it. It's not all bad. Their main ship, the Liberator, that does look quite cool, both inside and the model prop that they use for it. The teleport effect is okay, and there's a few other things here and there that aren't too bad, but quite a lot of it is kind of laughable. But in today's modern era where special effects are just the be all and end all, sometimes even the main focus of a movie. I mean, Avatar, prime example. Was that movie any good? Not really, but look, the blue people are in 3D, woo. Fucking hate that film. But because this show doesn't really have the budget to back up what it's trying to do, it focuses on its storytelling and its characters and their growth. And I can't believe I'm saying that like in today's era that's a refreshing thing. How is that not a thing in everything? But alas, alas. But that is obviously not the case nowadays, but you do end up in this show at least with really strong characters, both the good guys and the bad guys. And depending on which lineup of the Liberator crew that you have as well, each member of the team does something different. It is sort of like their main character trait, but they do delve into their characters in subsequent episodes, so it's not just you're this one or you're that one. So for example, Blake, he's the leader. This is with the original lineup, by the way. We have Avon. I love Avon. He's the clever one. He's the one who hacks into computers and stuff like that. Villa, he's a bit of a coward, but he also is a door expert, so he can pick any lock and get you into places. And when you're trying to take down the Federation, who rules everything, they're gonna have quite a few locked doors, so even though he's a bit of a coward, he does come in handy. Jenna, who's an expert pilot. Callie, the only alien, who's a telepath, and I think she's also a bit of a kick-ass fighter as well. And then last but not least, we have Gan, who is the big, strong guy, who also has a inhibitor chip in his head, which means that he can't kill people. And you might be thinking, well, that's only 6 people, how is it Blake's 7? Their ship, the Liberator, has a computer, Zen. Boom, there you go, that's the 7, the original 7. And from that you see these characters sort of gel together. Now obviously there is going to be conflict, mostly between Blake and Avon, but you see these characters with their differences, but they all have one main goal, and that is to take down the Federation and all the shit that they are doing. They are basically just oppressing people and taking over the universe, and then if people disagree with them, they're going to wipe the mind. Or if not wipe it, just meddle with it, or just throw them away onto horrible prison planets. And it does become a moral dilemma for Blake Blake especially, who's thinking, is what I'm doing any better than what the Federation is doing? Because either way, people are gonna get killed. It just depends on who's right and who's wrong, really. The basic premise of the show basically does just come down to good and evil. Fairly simplistic, but its complexity comes from the storytelling and its characters and the way that they grow. Throughout all 4 of the series, there is at least one episode with one of the characters where they don't act how you think they would. Sometimes this is in a positive way, other times it's in a negative way. Either way, it is just as effective. And I have to talk about the ending. Now, I'm not gonna spoil it, because honestly, if you watch the entire show and you get to that ending, because I already knew what was gonna happen before I got there. But one thing I will say is, even though I knew exactly what was coming, I was not prepared. But if you stick with it, you stay invested, and you grow with these characters, you get to that ending. I mean, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna leave it there. Like, you will be... yeah. It's easily one of the best endings to a TV show ever. And I know some of you guys on my channel have said to me in Q&As before, like, have you seen it or will you watch it? Yeah, I have. I fucking love it. So I know this wasn't like the longest video that I've ever done, but I just really wanted to point this series out to you guys because it's something that I've been enjoying for the last few weeks now. And I honestly think that if you guys watch it, if you're a fan of all the things that I mentioned before, you'll probably like it as well. And if you don't, well, it's whatever. At least you tried something different. But in the comments below, let me know if you have seen Blake 7 and your thoughts on it. And if you guys want me to talk about Blake 7 in the future, then let me know. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it. Subscribe if you want to see more on my channel. Do any of that, I would love you forever. But until next time, guys, you take care of yourselves. Goodbye. Kind of actually sad that I've changed my ringtone on my phone to the theme from Blake 7. It's such a good theme.